The story is told of a couple back in the days. The man came back home from work to meet his wife, who has this really long hair flowing all the way to the ground. She says, "Honey, there's this expensive comb I need you to buy for me because of my hair." The husband replies, "I'm sorry, love, but my watch broke and I need to repair it because I use it for work." The next day, the man goes to the pawn shop, sells his watch, and buys his wife the comb she wants. He rushes home all excited to give his wife the comb. And upon entering the house, he calls out, "Honey, come and see what I got for you." She comes out of the room and her husband sees that she has cut her hair. "Honey, why did you cut your hair? I sold my watch and bought you the comb you wanted." She looks at him and says, "My love, I cut my hair, sold it, and I bought you this watch." Ah, this touching story is the ideal love most of us expect in our families, relationships, communities. But sadly, it seems like it's only found in movies or romance novels. When you hear some stories out there, you just get the sense that love has gone on a long vacation. The ease with which we hurt each other. Families are being torn apart as parents separate, siblings feud, or parents fight their children. Marriage is no longer fashionable. It's actually more fashionable to leave marriage as you are in good company. Back in the days, it was a case of men chasing out their wives. But guess what? Women are the ones living on their own today. They got no time for rubbish. "I can do good and bad all by myself," they seem to say. Just yesterday, a guy asked me to advise him on a situation with his fiancée. He saw her with a bag with a perfume and biscuits and asked where she got it from. And she says, a stranger gave it to her to give to her cousin. He was confused because the cousin she mentioned was married and he couldn't understand why someone she claims she doesn't know will be using her as a courier for this cousin who lives in the same town. He was gutted because according to him there's absolutely nothing he doesn't do for her or give to her. He said the ease with which she lied was scary. Another friend told me how his son, who recently graduated, boasted to his mom that she doesn't need to take nonsense from daddy over money anymore because he now has a job and can support his mom. This is a child he put through all the best schools both home and abroad. Love don't live here anymore. I know some parents whose kids find it so difficult to support them in their old age. Guess what? The same people set up different WhatsApp groups of friends and associates immediately their parents died to raise money for a befitting burial for daddy, my hero, or my sweet mother. You never showed love to your parents when they were alive, but you're now doing Owambe in their name. Do you know that it's now commonplace to see young parents selling their kids for money? It's now commonplace to see kids killing their parents for money. Where did love go? Someone please tell me. We have substituted love for money and will do anything for this money. We want this money now, now, now. Children are busy screaming, "I'm sick and tired of home. I can't wait to leave." How I wish I could tell them that a time shall come that they will be homesick. My dad passed on several years ago, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't wish I could have just one day with him. I will even take 10 minutes. But today, we see sons who will chop off daddy's head for the right price. We see an example of a money now son in Luke chapter 15. It is the story of a prodigal son who told his father to give him his inheritance up front. He's sick and tired of home and wants to explore the world. His father does as his son wishes, and the young man jabbers with his fortune. But as expected, He squanders all his money on a bad lifestyle, and soon the young man who was sick of home is now homesick. And when he came to himself, he said, "How many hired servants of my father's have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants." The parable of the prodigal son is the greatest short story in or out of the Bible. It touches the tender chords of the human heart. It's a picture of the depths to which the soul can descend in its flight away from the Father who wants to bless you. It reveals the hope that exists for any individual, even though he has gone away from the Father into a far country. It reveals the deceitfulness of sin and the expensive toll the godless life will take upon every area of our existence. This young man is a symbol of society. Society consists of individuals, and society is what each individual makes it. Every one of us is a prodigal son, without price, and anywhere, anything on any situation can be the far country. When you abandon the love of God, you are a prodigal son. Someone once said, right is right and wrong is wrong, and you can't do wrong and feel right about it. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. Sin destroys love, life, and laughter. Sin hangs a crepe on the door of happiness. Sin will cause grief to grip your heart, and it will cause adversity to rattle the windows of your soul. I should know, because many a time I have swum in the mud of sin. I have wallowed in the vast fields of confusion and despair. I have been buffeted by the storms of failure, and the shadow of hopelessness cast over me. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. I look at my children today and see the love God has for me, replicated in my love for them. He neither sleeps nor slumbers for our sake, because he called us son. He called me son. I can then boldly say, Abba, Father. In Luke 15:20-24, we're told, but when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet, and bring hither the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, and they began to be merry. The story within the story is that the prodigal son called him father, and the father called him son. God has called you son. He loves you, and his arms are wide open, waiting to welcome you back home. We have all missed the mark. Love don't live here anymore because we left home for a far country. But once we come back to God, we'll operate in love once more. God bless you all.